I've been getting a little bit tired of typing in all of my different pages in the URL browser bar. So instead, I'm going to start working on my header a little bit, which wasn't specifically part of this feature, but I have some extra time and I'm tired of doing it, so I moved things around, okay? So I have my stories. Users can navigate to sign up, login, projects, and profile pages using header. Okay, it's a pretty simple feature because I'm not going to do everything that's on here, right? I'm not going to deal with right now the menu header when a user is logged in but has no photo, and I'm not going to deal with whether they're used in or logged in or not. I am just going to create a simple header with login, create an account details, and projects, and then we will iterate from there, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at what we need to do. So the first thing is we're just basically adding the logo, the title, the links to each page. So I'm going to keep this up like this so I can kind of take a look at it. All right. And I'm going to get rid of my header box. All right. I like to keep everything in a top level box here. And then I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I want a chakra UI image. So I'm going to look up that. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and just copy that in. I am going to import from chakra UI. And then I'm going to find my logo. All right, and I'm going to add my logo. I'm going to just add it in this components here to make the file path easy. So I'm going to do slothblue.png. How's that going? Okay, so it didn't work. And then I'm gonna do the alternative text is sloth logo. All right, let's see how we, okay, so they are just, all right. So I actually think I have this in my S3 bucket. So I think I'm going to use that instead. So I'm going to go to my S3 bucket so I can just get a, I'm going to get a URL for it. So let's go ahead and do sloth. Oh goodness. Reveal in Finder. Okay. All right, upload. Perfect. So now we should be able to, and you can see my great S3 situation. And then let's go ahead and put that in here. Let's give that a try. Beautiful. Look how cute he is. Okay. So then I need to worry about the box size. Let's give that a try. All right. Okay, and then I want to do border, nope, radius is going to be 50%. And that's what makes it a cute little circle. I think he's still a little bit big, so let's do like 80 pixels. I think that looks pretty good. Then let's go ahead and add some padding. That looks good. Okay, so we have our header, our logo added to the header. Perfect. Okay, I want when I'm going to want an action when I click on it. So I'm going to worry about that in a little bit later. All right, and then next I'm going to add a heading, and I am going to call this project planning tool. And let's go back and take a look. All right, looks pretty good. I'm going to then need to make this display flex. Perfect. All right, and then I'm going to do gap. Let's do gap 4. All right, I'm gonna then add this. I'm gonna add a border around this now. I like to add a border whenever I am working with CSS because I like to try to figure out where everything lands. So the thing that I'm trying to figure out right now is I want the project planning tool to be like at the same level, at like in the center of there. So adding a border for me just makes me visually be able to understand it better. So I'm going to try align items center, and that looks good. I feel like it's both things are a little bit too big, so I'm gonna work on that next. All right, font size, let's try 36. Okay, I think it's already 36, let's try 28. All right, honestly, that looks a little bit better. Let's try 24. I think 28 is probably fine. Okay. I think this does need to be a little bit smaller though. Let's try 60. Maybe a little bit bigger. Let's try 70. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right. So then now we need to have our links here. So I'm gonna add this. If you are at work or you're working with a designer, it's going to be a lot more specific than my wireframes. So my wireframes are just like a general, like this is where things should go, this is what the functionality should be, okay? If you're working with a designer, you're going to have like, this is what the font size should be, this is what the size of the logo should be, this is what color they're supposed to be, and it's supposed to be, it will be very specific. Like hopefully you're working with a good designer that will tell you what the gap space between these two is. But it might not be in the same terms that you would use, right? So they might be like, there should be 100 pixels between this and this, okay? Then you can go ahead and figure out how that aligns with the CSS, okay? All right, so that is going to be one thing. So I'm gonna wrap this in a bigger box now. All right, and then I'm going to add a box for all of my links, okay? So I'm going to start out with adding here a variable menu items, or let's call this pages. And I'm going to make it an array. And then I'm going to add my pages to them. So I'm going to make it an array of objects, and I'm going to have the item name. I'm going to have the page name here, and then I'm going to have the page path as well. Okay, so for example, log in will be the path / login. Okay. Then I can just copy this, and we'll have, let's look at our thing. So we'd have create an account would be, and that's not even the right path, would be sign up. And then we will have projects will be / projects, add our comma, and then here we will have account details, and that will be / profile. Okay, so then now within this box here, we can do pages.map, and we can do return, and we'll do a box. And we're gonna do page.name. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so now we have all of our names here. All right, so this, they will all go into box, so we want these to be display flex, so that way it will be in a row. Perfect. Then we can do justify content. Maybe let's do space around. Okay, that looks pretty good, but you can see they should be in the same box. So I'm going to move my border and my align columns, align items up one level. And then I need to add display flex here too, which now puts everything within the same line, okay? But as you can see, the project planning tool is a little bit off now. So I think it's probably because of this padding here. So let's make sure we move this. Maybe not. What happens if we get rid of the padding altogether? It just gets mad. I'm just kidding. Okay. So we do want the padding there. But this is where your borders and all of those things are going to come in handy. So let's do border 1 pixel solid. Okay. Then that's where we also need to align the item center here. But do you see how that made sense? Like before I added this border, I wasn't sure what was going on. But the second I added the border, now I'm like, oh, those are in a box together, but clearly they're not aligned in a center, okay? So that helps me kind of figure out, right? And so like I want a gap of 4 in between those two, so that makes sense why gap of 4 is in this box here. Okay, so now I have all my little pages too, so I'm gonna need to space those out. All right, so I'm gonna also add a border. I'm gonna actually take the border away from that one because I don't need it anymore. And I'm gonna take a look. You can see, right, the border helps again because you can see that it's just not doing the whole width. So let's try to make width equal to 100%. And now you can see that these are spaced out more. Okay, but I want flex. There's just not enough room. Okay, so we don't want width of this to be 100%. We want this width to be like, let's say 75%. Okay, that looks pretty good. But you can already see that this is starting to curl around because it's too big. Okay, so we're gonna have to also work on some responsive design here too to make it work when you get smaller. So we'll have to create some sort of hamburger menu and stuff like that. We will add that as a task for our make it better portion of the plan. Now I'm probably just going to edit it enough to work. So what if I make this 24? Okay. What if I make this 70? All right, that already looks a lot better. This is gonna be kind of the size that I'm using to like develop with. So I am going to say that that's pretty good. And yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Okay, so now you can see though that I don't have the ability to click on these yet. So I'm going to need to make that, okay? So I need to go ahead and add a link, which is part of React Router. So let's go ahead and do link React Router. And this is how you use the link. You use link and then it has a prop for 2 and it shows you where it goes to. So we are going to wrap our box in a link component. And then we're going to import it from React Router DOM. And it's mad because we're missing the 2. So we're just say 2 is equal equal to item dot, nope. I don't know why it's gonna start like, oh, because we're not, usually when I map over an object, I call the object item. So there, that's why it doesn't know what I'm talking about. Item dot path. All right, now let's give this a try. So I click on login. I'm on login, so that makes sense. Create an account, sign up, projects on my project page, account detail. Makes sense. It's going to bring me back to sign up because if you look, right, we have no token. So let's go ahead and go to log in. Let's log in. Whoop, whoop. And then let's go to account details, projects, create an account, log in. Awesome. All right, so obviously there's a lot of work that still needs to be done in terms of like, it's not responsive. So if I pull this in closer, we have an issue with our header, so we'll have to have different menu types, okay? I also need to work on, I'm gonna move this to done. I also need to work on the idea of hiding certain things. So when I'm like right now I'm logged in, right? So I shouldn't see login and I shouldn't see create an account. I should just see projects and account details, okay? But then when I'm logged out, I should just see login or create an account, okay? And then the same thing with like, I wanna have a profile picture here if we have a photo or account details. So I think what I'm going to work on next is adding the profile photo, and then I can go back and edit my header